Welcome back! For today's video, we will be diving into one of Python's most versatile and commonly used data structures known as the dictionary. Now, whether you're managing user data, tracking inventory, or just need something to associate your value with a key or have a key value pair, dictionaries can help you manage all of that efficiently. Now pay attention to the lessons that we're going to go over for this video, as there will be some hands-on activity where we'll surely use all those concepts. Let's begin. So what are dictionaries? Dictionaries are a collection of key value pairs. Now in Python, they are defined using these curly braces. They allow us to store data in a way that maps a unique key to a corresponding value. And we emphasize here that the key that you will be using to map to a specific value should be unique, because there's consequence if it's not unique. It's basically overwriting it, but we'll show that later. So in this particular case, the syntax is as follows. The dictionary is stored in a variable called employee, and they are surrounded or enclosed in curly braces. Now, name, age, and city are keys, and the values associated to these keys are 1, the integer 23, and Cavite City. The key is on the left side of the colon and the value is on the right side of the colon, and each pair is separated by a comma, just like how each element is separated by a comma in a list. Now to access the particular, let's say you want to access a particular value using the key, this is the syntax for that. So let's say, for example, I want to access the age of this particular employee. So the syntax is the variable where the dictionary is stored, and the key is what you use to index it. It's similar. If you type in the name, you get Carlos, and sorry, it's supposed to be 1, so the name should be 1, and the city is supposed to be Cavite City. Okay, now we want to emphasize that the keys that you should be using is unique, because if they are not unique, look at what will happen. So let's say, for example, here there's a comma here. Okay, so for example, let's say, for example, I use another key with a named age and change it to 35, or maybe just yeah. So now we have a dictionary that has 2 age key. Notice that when I print this, the age that is being read by the dictionary is the last one where the where we use that key age. What's happening here is that because the dictionary should have a unique key, it tends to just get the one with the last value associated to that key, because it will interpret this one as overwriting the prior one. Okay, so there. Now if you want to access the keys, because our example here only have 3 unique ones, but let's say in real life you might be dealing with a dictionary or an object that has multiple, or like maybe hundreds of keys. Maybe what you can do is just do this employee, use the dot keys method, so you get all of the unique keys, and if you want to access the values, it's the dot values method. Now similar to enumerate, if you want to get the items here or the key value pair, the associations, you use employee.items, and you see here the key value pair is represented by tuples. Now let's go over some of the most useful methods you can use with dictionaries. These methods make accessing and manipulating dictionaries super easy. So first we go with the .get method. So the .get method is used to safely retrieve the value of a key, and it doesn't throw an error if the key is missing. So for example, for our employee, if we want to get, for example, .get, and for example age, it will safely give us 35. But let's say, for example, we want to get the ID number and it doesn't exist, it doesn't throw an error. right? So your code won't be broken. Now for the update methods allow you to add or update your key value pairs in your dictionary. So for example, for the ID number, maybe we want to update the following, right? And in this particular case, you could add in here the ID number, and then let's say for example it's 0001. Okay, now if you print again the employee dictionary, ID number is already there. Now let's say for example, aside from just adding, you want to update an information. So basically you can do that. Let's say for example we want to add let's say gender, and we have here male, and update the ID number to be 0002. Oops, sorry, where do we have here? Sorry, it has to be enclosed in a okay, employee update. So now if we print this employee, we see that we have simultaneously added the gender key and updated the ID number. Now the pop method or the pop method is used to remove a key value pair from the dictionary. So let's say for example the city, we no longer need a city. So let's say for example employee dot pop and remove the city. Similar to when we use it in the list methods, right? It will print out whatever is being removed. And if we print the employee dictionary, we see that city, the key value pair associated to city, is no longer present. You can likewise loop through dictionaries using the for loops, and of course this can be done with the method I've shown you earlier with the dot item. Of course with either just the key, the value, or maybe using both like the dot items. So looping over dictionaries for key value in employee dot items, print you'll now see that the syntax that we're using here is very consistent with the tuples lesson, right? Where when we unpack them, so we have here two variables. So one of the reasons why dictionaries are so flexible is that their values can be of almost any data types or data structure, including tuples and lists. This allows you to store and of course handle even more complex data structures. So let's see it with an example. So this is especially useful when you want to group related data together. Let's move on to more advanced techniques like reverse lookup. This is useful when you need to find a key that corresponds to a specific value. Now we can also use dictionaries to count the occurrences of the items, which is of course very handy, especially in data analysis. So for the code, let's create a code called reverse lookup. We have, let's say for example here, dictionary, and here we have the value. So if you're wondering what the built-in function for a dictionary is, because for tuple we have tuple and for list we have list, it's DICT. So just a side note. So here, DICT here is for the dictionary, so it's not a whole word. So we can use the word dictionary and it's not a built-in function. Now let's say for here, so we want to unpack the dictionary. So for key value in dictionary dot items, if the value is, sorry, this is the value that we're searching for, so maybe we'll call this val. So if value is equal to val, right, for the value here, then we want to return the key. Otherwise, we return null. So, for example, in this case, let's create a dictionary called colors, right? And we have here red 1, green 2, and blue for 3, right? So if you want to look up what key associated is with the value, let's say of 2, so we'll just use the function that we have created, and the dictionary's name is colors. Apply it here, colors, and the value that we know is 2, but we don't know the key. It will return green. So if the value that we have here is 3, it will return blue. So now we know what key is associated to that value. And for our last example, say you have a use case for sentiment analysis or really just analyzing text or string, for example. So this example is for counting occurrences. So I basically taught you already the .get method, but there is something that we can use in the .get method in order for us to, well, create a dictionary with the count of the characters. So for example, if you want to count the digits or the characters, or how many times they have appeared or they have occurred in the sentence, let's say here, she sells seashells by the seashore, right? So we first need to declare an empty dictionary. Let's call that char or character count, char count. It's an empty dictionary. Now for character or for char in sentence, which is what we have here, sentence, we would be doing the following. Char and .get char 0 plus 1. Now to explain what's happening when we use the .get method, we consult its docstring. Basically, it returns the value for the key if the key is in the dictionary, else it will return the default value. We've seen this earlier when we had a demonstration of the .get method, and if it doesn't have, or the dictionary doesn't have the key that you were looking for, it's not gonna throw any error because the default value that is being returned here, the else default, is none. So in this particular case, for example, we want to count the particular occurrence of a character in this sentence. So for every iteration of the loop, for every character that we encounter here in this sentence, it will first try to look at if that character is found in the dictionary. So for example, in this case, if we apply it using the sentence that we have here for she sells seashells by the seashore, we first encounter the character S. because char count as a dictionary is still empty by this time, so this particular code will evaluate to the default value, and we have specified it to be 0. Why? Because it will try to find if the letter S is in the char count as a key, and because it's not yet there, it will return this value here, the default, which is 0. And after evaluating to 0, it will add a 1. Therefore, for the character count or the char count dictionary, S will now have a value of 1. Now let's move to letter H. Once H is being processed, it will try to look at whether H as a key is now present in the char count dictionary. Because it isn't, then this whole thing again will evaluate to 0, and we will add a +1. Therefore, a new key will be created, which is the letter H. And it will repeat its process until we reach the letter S. And now the letter S is already existing in that dictionary. We have encountered it before or earlier. So this one will get the value associated with letter S, which is 1, and add in here another value, +1. So now the updated value for char count S will be 2, and it repeats its cycle until we finish the loop. And after that, so after running this code, we get to see that S appeared 8 times, H appeared 4 times, E appeared 7 times, and there's a 7 spaces in that sentence. So this counter is particularly useful when you're counting digits or characters. Let's say, for example, you're doing social media analysis. This can actually work with, let's say, analyzing emojis. So hopefully, you see how very powerful counter dictionary can be used as a counter for those use cases. Now it's time for you to practice what you've learned. Here are some exercises you can use to test your understanding of the dictionaries. I have here 3 exercises, but the first exercise is what you've done earlier, so we don't need to do that anymore unless you would want to try it with a different approach, or maybe try it with a different string. So, but I'll read it out anyway. It's create a function that accepts any string and returns a dictionary containing the characters of the string as keys and the number of times each character appears as values. So the input here is similar. It's actually identical to what we have already done in the last part of the video. Now for the second function, we have to create a function to invert a dictionary. It should accept a dictionary as a parameter and return a dictionary where the keys are values from the input dictionary and the values are the list of keys from the input dictionary. So use this example as a guide, okay? And you may even use this exact dictionary, but the output should be exactly like this. For the last one, you are to create a function that accepts a number and display the products with price less than or equal that number. So use this particular dictionary. So for example, you have a smartwatch, the price is $550, phone $1,000, PlayStation $500, laptop $1,550, music player $600, and then tablet is $400. So now if you want to input $500, let's say for example, it's a budget app, so it should return any items that are less than 500, and in this case it's less than or equal to that budget, so it's PlayStation and the tablet. And that's it for today's video. Hope after this you are more confident in using dictionaries in your Python projects. I personally use them a lot in all of my financial projects where a key value pair is important. So for example, stock code associated with the price, it often comes or stored in dictionaries. So with this, hope to see you again in the next lesson. Bye for now.